So
No, I just thought it was just us live talking to each other. I didn't realize this was recorded. You guys are doing a really good job.
See,
I broke him.
yeah. We're gonna have to restart Mike now.
wait, what? I'm
I
so
broke the AI.
confused. That's a good way to start. I'm broken. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're live.
Who are you and why am I here?
Well,
Well,
let's.
I'm confused.
That's nothing new.
Angry.
It's by design.
It's by design.
greetings, all of the people. It's good to see your faces. Welcome. All of the people. Yeah, I got some cool feedback. Somebody
Hold
Oh.
on, hold on, hold on. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
I got some cool feedback. What is that? Do you have Twitch open or something?
I might have had it in the background. I closed it.
I'm still hearing it.
Now
Oh, well.
that ain't me. That's
Nope.
all. That's all you.
That's all
Not me
It's
neither.
all my fault.
It's always your fault.
Always my fault.
Why do we let you run these things?
I don't know why. Why are we okay? Anyways, welcome everyone. Welcome to 2021. How's your year been so far?
Oh no, it's March 317th. We're fine.
Again, I'm broken.
There's a script called Blur's Day, which allows you to take the time from starting on March 17th of 2020 and stay March, and it just adds on. And it gives you Monday, March 317th, 2020.
I don't know. March wasn't a great month to begin with last year, but that's besides the point. All right, let's get back to the why we're here. So, Mike challenged me.
I did?
Well, I said, we would go one-on-one, right?
All right, I challenged you.
On the war walk. And then I was just going to let slide. And then Zero was like, no, wait. We can't let this go. We're going to make you guys war walk and what's that? Challenge on the wireless CTF. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so you two had agreed to a one-on-one showdown on the wireless capture the flag. Yes. And then we figured, just to make it interesting for everybody else, instead of the 12 minutes of you guys failing to crack WEP and then giving up, we could also have 3 hours drive, maybe.
You mean after 3 hours of trying to crack WEP?
Mike would look and go, "There's 31, I win."
I'm going to just brute force double PS. You know that, right?
Good luck.
Can I just run a script? There's scripts for these, right?
I'm just
You
going to.
can definitely run a script. If you win, you win. The only rule is top of the scoreboard, baby.
All right.
The only thing is I'm playing too, and I'm playing on the defensive side.
It's fine. I'll just pay Wasabi to play for me.
You really want to lose. I hope you're out there.
Yeah, you might want to invest your money smarter than that. Bitcoin's going down. Why don't you sink your money into that?
Don't worry, it'll go back up. It always does.
I heard Ethereum's doing well right now.
Oh, shoot. Okay, so we have a battle royale.
Yes. And then Mike was being a bitch about it. It's like, well, my neighborhood doesn't have that many people living in there. And I was like, well, so that's not my fucking fault. You live in the boondocks, So we needed to come up with a way where we could make the war walking at least competitive. So Mike's ego gets bruised, but not fully broken into pieces of rubble that nobody can pick up anymore.
So a Thursday.
But I figured it would be a good way to, I think, let's revisit a little bit of what the war walking was like at DEF CON, which was super cool.
Which was way cool.
Right. So, if you can explain the basic rules of the war walk portion of DEF CON, then I think we can go from there.
Maybe we should start off with an introduction of the one member who we've added since the last time we did this.
Indeed.
Yeah. That would be the guy who made the DEF CON war drive happen.
Yes.
Say hi, Andy.
Hey everybody, it's great to be here. Oh, don't start doing that or I'm going to do the same thing back.
Everybody's like, who's that normal looking dude in the corner?
Nobody has ever called me normal looking. So
Look around. Look to your left and look to your right.
I can't tell which orientation we're in right now, so I'm just going to assume that it's bad news. So hi, my name is Andy. I go by ARC. I'm one of the founders of Wigle.net, the big wireless network mapping website that's almost 20 years old now somehow.
Wigle can almost drink.
We were absolutely positive when we started that thing that the IEEE 802.11 working committee was going to see those maps and be like, oh shit, we should probably do some MAC randomization. It never happened. So here we are 20 years later, still doing this shit. I have no idea why. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm responsible for a fair chunk of the software at Wigle.net. Anything that sucks, that's probably me. And just trying to figure out how we can take sort of and I won't do I can't figure out what orientation we're in on Twitch, so I won't guess at it. But how to take what I came up with in conjunction with the Council of Ricks last time and scale that up to deal with the world's premier war drivers, the champagne of war drivers, or the MK Ultra of war drivers, or whatever we're going to call it.
So Kentaro and Dark Matter have to leave the call.
They just have to mute. So
All right, that's fair.
we came up with a pretty good setup for DEF CON. I think the Council of Ricks and yourself, Ark. It was definitely a team effort, as in you did all of the math and we said, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, literally by team effort, I mean he did everything. The two of us came up with ideas and he made it happen. So props where it belongs. But I think it went very well. There were a couple of things that were less than perfect. I don't know that I could say they were bad. They were just, man, I wish that this could have been different. For example, to make sure people weren't cheating, we had randomly designated existing devices in their spaces as foxes. And you had to find those foxes, and the more of them you found, the more likely it was you weren't cheating. So your score rose quite drastically as you found higher percentages of those devices. Unfortunately, it's hard to tell. Do those devices still exist at this second? That they're very, they've been found recently or whatever, they're likely to exist. But that was definitely one source of contention that could change points. And the other one is we were heavily waiting for what percentage of the area did you find, as in, like, if Wigle sees 1 million access points and you report 800,000, that's okay. But if you find 1.2 million, that's way better, right? So that was another source of kind of more than just you found the most access points. We wanted it to actually have some kind of a bearing on where you live, so that somebody like Dark Matter doesn't instantly lose to somebody like Kentaro because of just population density. Again, was that the most fair thing to do? I don't know, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. And so yeah, before we just say let's redo DEF CON with the same rules, I thought maybe we should chat about that.
Yeah, I think I mean, I didn't score high, but I scored higher than Mike, which always matters more than anything else for me. Which is not a high bar, I have to say.
So what you're saying is you can't beat yourself, you've got to beat Mike.
Right. Well, to beat a man, you have to beat the man, right? So, no matter what, he still is the Chumbawamba of Wi-Fi that everybody aims for. So, but I had fun playing it. I think weather was not as favorable for me, and also the time of there was like a lockdown going on. So I'm like, do I risk my life for this of heat stroke or a possible like life-threatening disease? And I was like, but no, I had fun. I think the foxes was like I think it was a little bit more difficult for me because I live in a high dense environment. That like, if I have 5 foxes, finding 5 foxes among 300 million is going to be a lot harder than 8, like in Mike's case. Not that he scored any foxes, but
Oh God. So there's a little detail about why we made that happen.
Right.
And what we wanted to do is, because this is unlike previous war drives where everybody sort of took the same area and had to compete on coverage, everybody was going to be working in completely disparate areas.
Right.
And so what we wanted to reward with the system was, how did you do covering the area that you claimed? If you chose a really unambitious area, we wanted you to have to work hard. And if you chose a super ambitious area, you kind of needed to be ready to put your money where your mouth was, right?
Right.
Like you were going to have more points. And so your score weighted by the number of points we knew about in the area was going to be actively lower based on total coverage. And you'd get more foxes in a more dense area. So half the choice was choosing your quad. If you live in a big city, you can choose a neighboring area that's a little bit less dense if you want to go that direction. On the other hand, if you live, 2 hours away from any big city, then there still has to be a fair way for you to compete. There has to be a score that you can win on, because it can't be the sheer number of points you find. People who live in denser areas are going to completely nail the wall.
Right.
So the foxes and the grid choice, basically. And I posted, I shared sort of our config parameters for the last time that we did this with the group earlier. And it was basically, you had to adopt at least 16 square kilometers for the DEF CON war drive. So, not a huge square actually, but it could go up to 100 square kilometers. So if you lived in a sparse place, it was in your best interests to choose a really big quad that you could probably still cover driving pretty reliably. If you lived in a dense place, choosing a smaller quad and just covering the hell out of it was probably going to be a better strategy. And this is something that I know that we dealt with on the RFHS server with some contestants basically saying, never mind, I want to re-register. I chose a bad quad. And so I think we could have been more forthcoming about that at the beginning too. What we were trying to prioritize was how good a job you were doing at covering your quad.
Yeah, and I think that got clearer as we played. At the beginning, I was like, okay, I got a square. Do I find new ones for points, or do I cover more? And then as you upload your data, you start your points move. I'm like, oh, coverage. Okay, well then it's 1 block over, 1 block over, 1 block over, right? So, but the question comes now this is a heads up, and everybody can play, but this is between me and Mike. So, how are we gonna, because I don't want to
between 31st and 32nd place.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll be 29 this year.
But we're also trying to make sure that cheating is much more difficult, because we all know how to cheat this system really well for, after 100 years of doing this, at least for Guitarro.
Right.
Cheating's easy. And we wanted to make sure that we were as close to not allowing cheating as we could.
Right. So, Renderman's quote that I live by is that if it's not written, then it's not cheating. Right. So, I think the general play I think I enjoyed, but I wish the rules were a little bit more clearer. And I think this is why I wanted to, why we wanted to clear it out here, so that, me and Mike are pathetic human beings. We will bitch about why we lost or why we won, to the other. They'd be like, oh, they did this. We're like, well, my rig broke down and there was a lockdown and whatever. But at least by discussing this in open, even if we bitch about it, people will be able to go, well, they already talked about it here, and they agreed upon the fuzziness.
Yeah, that's just it. We're trying to agree on terms and try to make things as fair as they can be. Like, we made the decisions we made for a reason, trying to balance this out for complete unknown. And we're not so in the dark, so we can make some tweaks or completely do it differently this time. I mean, for example, The foxes were a small number, and they were chosen from very highly likely points in Wiggle's database. What if we simply chose a crap ton more, including lower possibility values, just to maybe there aren't 100% of the points actually present. Maybe there's only 80%, but it gives you a lot more to find. So instead of like, well, I found 4 and I got penalized because there were 8 and I got 50%. Like if there's 80, it's a different thing, right? So like there's ways to tweak the way this worked. Again, though, it definitely depends on your quad. 'Cause if you find this quad and it just sucks, like if no one's ever wiggled it before, it's hard to pull that data.
Right.
On the other hand, that's where your points new to Wiggle score would balance you out, though, right? Because you're stumbling in territory. So that helped a little bit. We were watching the registrations roll in as people joined the contest. Having that sort of view was really great. I think the projector in my living room was on most of the duration of the contest, with Google Earth flying around watching the submission polys pop in.
That is freaking rad.
It was really cool. But in particular, I remember Aardvark had excellent. I forget where he was. It was someplace not his usual stomping grounds.
I think it was
he had chosen a bear of a quad, and in particular, he had a small number of foxes compared to people in denser areas. But he had achieved excellent coverage. But there were 2 of them that were basically out in small outlying areas near a river that only had one road leading to and from them. And we were positive he wasn't going to get those during the time that he had. He did get one, but the other one was just no chance.
Yeah. I think what was I going to say? No, I think if there are more than one player, I think that format worked very well. But if this is going to be between me and Mike, I think there has to be some direct damage to the other person for my score. I don't want it to be just score, right?
Wait, so you want to subtract points from her, or is this like a physical challenge double dare thing where you want to?
No. My idea is that if one of the other players gets a fox, the other player loses 1 fox.
Oh.
Well,
right?
Rather than that, we could add another fox that he has to find every time you find one of yours.
Ooh,
I like that. Yeah, like stacking difficulty.
Well, that's particularly mean too, because it could reappear in an area he's already covered.
Oh,
I can't tell. Wiggle doesn't have a perfect idea of what coverage is. I mean, maybe you pilot a drone around, maybe you follow streets. We don't know where you've been or where you haven't. We've kind of organized our data set so that we can't know that. Like, we don't want to be on the hook for tracking users' positions. That would make us a target for all kinds of bad things. We just know where you said you saw networks. So
right. So I think one of the chat suggestions is that you get points deducted for idle time.
Well, so then you get into the Uber problem where you're stressing people out and pushing them. You're pushing them to drive or walk beyond their exhaustion.
Oh, wait, I thought you meant Uber problem as in Mike cheating by paying off Uber drivers to ward drive for him.
Has that been written?
That's his thing. That's his
thing. You're talking a heavy lift right there.
I may or may not have ever done that before. It's funny how much they'll do it for free and even install the app for you and then let you put in your cred. It's pretty fun.
That's why we added the barcode, so you can just scan the QR with another phone and you're ready to go.
I have not used that yet, but I will. Mark my words.
Yeah.
So no, I see your point. But if it's gonna be like, if you're idle for more than 7 hours, you're not competing.
How long do you expect this to go?
That's a great question. I was just about to ask the same thing.
I mean, is this a day, a week, a month?
No, I thought this was going to be a day because we agreed that there's going to be time zone issues. Because I'm in the future. if we do like, you know, if we do 24 hours, okay, 24 hours when, right? Or do we
Yeah,
do
this
20?
has to be like a 30-hour-ish contest. This can't be a week.
Right.
Like,
Or
this is
or
a
or
sprint.
do we do it in a way that I have to click a start timer, and then it's 24 hours from when I click the start timer, rather than saying 24 hours on, I don't know, January 31st or whatever, or 30 hours January.
Is there enough overlap of our time zones to where you're awake and I'm awake for like a consistent number of hours that like would make it useful?
Well, it depends on what time you go to bed and what time I wake up. And
Speaking of, it's getting late,
if you have to work that day or not,
well, I'm already planning to take work off, so this is my priority for that
or
day.
if you have daddy duties that you have to do that day,
Touche.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we do like 7 hours where our time zones overlap, I mean, for me, it's going to be like 4 in the morning till like, I don't know, 2 in the afternoon, which will for you be like, I don't know, 5 in the afternoon till like midnight, right?
To me, that argues for like a 24-hour period or a, you know, even a 48-hour period, but nothing longer than that.
No,
Nobody wants you guys like near exhaustion and forcing yourselves further.
No, I have no plans. I mean, that 10-hour walk killed my ass. You know? So, but I think. Huh?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, are we doing distances now? Total distances?
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, should we have like a limit on your maximum speed that you can go, and like limit the device that like, is this war walking? Are we gonna like bicycles?
So
No,
last
I mean,
time
mode of transportation should be left up to the player.
What if you had the quads set for you by Wigle, and you were given a limited amount of time, and you could not exceed X miles?
Oh,
So
snap.
you had to intelligently drive the area you were given. So let's say the area is, I'm just making up numbers, 4 square miles, but you can't drive more than 6.
Well, that throws one of my strategy out of the plan. So,
Which is good. So yeah, let's do it.
Are we making a rule saying that people can't use drones or secondary drivers or anything like that?
I think you can't, if I'm asking a question that gets into your proprietary stuff, you can't say that this came from a specific device. You just have a user, right? Or can you?
We'd have to add something that we actively don't want to have in.
That's what I thought.
you could, however,
we try really hard to be careful with user privacy.
Well, because here's the thing: you can have multiple devices and just be you, right? You can have 5 phones.
Right, because my plan is 5 phones and yeah.
So you can't have 2 access points across town at the same time being seen and reported to Wigle.
So it's got to be in your possession or within your reach or in your like immediate area, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
In your conveyance.
In your conveyance, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be in a train and it's in the front and the back of the train, but like that's it.
Yeah. My plans exactly.
That train's gonna take you out of your quad real quick though, so.
Oh, you'll be surprised if I. Here's the thing. Then I can put up a huge quad, and ride the train in that quad, right?
Okay. How about this? How about you figure out a way to smuggle me into Tokyo, and I'll come over there, and we'll do it both there.
How about no?
How about no? Oh.
You just need to pick. You need to pick your nearest, densest city.
Right. Well, for me, that's.
I mean, for this, it's probably just. I may just go to Vegas.
Pretty intense coverage.
I don't know that Vegas is the right place to be right now for density.
Yeah, I know, right? I heard Washington D.C. is pretty crowded, so.
You should totally go there on the 20th and drive.
Right.
Wait, let's do it on the 20th. I'll get.
I
This
can't.
brings up another stipulation I think we'd all like to make, which is this contest should in no way cause people to risk their lives.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but it's Kintaro and Dark Matter. It's okay.
yeah,
They
the,
would be
wo-
Wi-Fi
yeah,
martyrs.
the world will be like, they were cool for a while and then they got boring. Bunch of one-trick ponies. You know? But here's the problem that I have. The government just issued a lockdown, so I am out until like mid-February. So it will have to be like after Valentine's Day or something. If
I
the
said none of
lockdown,
us have anything to do on Valentine's Day anyway. We can do that.
I don't know if Valentine's Day is a weekend or not this year. I don't have a calendar here. So, but no, I think, going back to it, I think we all agree that we have to be the players, right? We can't have other people play for us,
Right.
right?
Yes. I agree.
And
to
then, and then number of devices unlimited, as much as you want to use that you think is feasible.
Okay, real quick, can I tell a quick anecdote? So I was driving back from Salt Lake, and Kim was driving back from Las Vegas, and we passed each other, Aardvark, we passed each other on the freeway, and we were trying to see if we caught each other on Wiggle, and we didn't. We didn't see each other. So, and we were both only using one device. So anyways, just as an aside, driving past each other at 80 on a freeway, you may not get all of your things. So it's all about adding all of the devices. But that was very interesting interaction that we had.
Zero is just like, I have a device that will catch you.
We all do. I just
What?
I
What?
watch.
It's only 12 radios in this one, but I can chain them.
Can I lease that for the competition?
Hey, Zero is playing.
Right? No, I need this to win. I'm gonna win.
So, but I think going back to the time question, I don't want to do it more than maximum 48, and not even 48, maybe 30.
30 is good.
Right?
I'm down with that. Yeah.
But
I'm down for the shortest amount of time that Kentaro thinks is fair, because the time zone thing screws him more than the rest of us.
no, it doesn't. I have the advantage over it.
No, the train's shut down at midnight.
Well, earlier now because of they start running at 5 here in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's
All right,
right.
so we're doing this from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. my time.
And Kentaro's got another advantage anyway, because he has access to all those networks in the future that haven't been deployed where we are yet.
Right. So then comes the big question. Is this just Wi-Fi? Is it Wi-Fi and Bluetooth? Or what I would prefer to see would be Wi-Fi and cellular.
Ooh.
Now here's the problem. In all of like where I'm at in Utah, there's like 72 cell towers.
There you
Well,
go. You know that number then.
Well, then
You've
you
got
better
all.
start buying these Blade RFs and start popping up cell towers left and right before you do it.
I literally have my Blade RF like right here. That's on my to-do list.
But I think we should keep it pure Wi-Fi. I think that makes it more fun between me and Mike then.
Wi-Fi and airplanes?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I have my 10.
We're gonna get.
Wait, but does
I'm
Wiggle
a
take,
flyover state, so yeah.
does Wiggle take
no.
airplanes?
Wiggle
We're gonna
doesn't.
get killed by Kentaro. Are you kidding me? Although
Alright.
if the lockdown, we won't get killed by him. But if we wait till after the lockdown, he's gonna see a million planes. And Ike, I'm not at a hub anymore.
I don't want to brag, but I have 2 major international airports that fly right over my head. So
Yeah.
how about we do Wi-Fi and boats?
Wi-Fi and boats.
I'm on the river. I'm good. Let's do this.
I have absolutely zero excuse to go to the beach. So yes.
How far away can you pick up maritime stuff?
A couple miles if you do
If
it right.
you're elevated over the water a little bit, long way.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, I can see the bay and the ocean from where I live, which is about right in the middle. So
Oh dear, I'm gonna have to go somewhere else. to
No,
do
because
this.
if it's Bluetooth, I have clearly the more advantage, even more so because of my population density.
I just feel like we had this discussion last time. I just feel like Bluetooth is super important, but not feasible because you could stay in one place, get the same Bluetooth device 45 times.
Yeah, and then I live in an apartment complex that houses at least 300 people, so
1,500 devices right there.
right. So I think we should keep it pure Wi-Fi.
I
Right.
agree.
There's got to be something that can be a anti-cheat in there, though. That's why I was thinking cell.
I mean, that was
So-
part of the point of the Foxes.
Well, yeah. Could the cell towers be foxes like in your area? Could it be like a bonus if you hit it?
Like we'd know. So one, if you reported a fake cell tower, there are FCC databases that will prove that that ain't so.
Yeah.
On
Agreed.
the other hand, anybody can. I have a VGA dongle that can be a very limited range cell site simulator if I want to be a complete asshole.
But again, I think Rick's idea, I think it was him that said it, was having them as the foxes.
Like if you don't see them, so it means that you're going to need, at least in the United States, that indicates that you're going to need several devices.
Yes.
And several live sims on the right networks. So like your Verizon and Sprint devices have to have Verizon and Sprint sims in order to catch those towers with a Wigle app. If you've got a more advanced rig, a la Croc Hunter, you can do a lot more.
I'm fine with the cell towers being a possible fox, but not all foxes to be cell towers. Is I think like if some of them are foxes, I think that's okay.
I was just looking
Yeah, I
at
think
towers in a grid or in a what are we calling them? What are we calling the areas?
quad.
Quads. A set of cell. There's a finite number of legit cell towers in a quad.
Oh yeah.
So if you're getting something outside of that, it doesn't count. I mean, there's some limiting factors that would lock in a little bit.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's a way to cheat that one too, but it would be harder.
Right.
In chat real quick, and Zero just replied to it. Luke brought up maybe for different generations of Wi-Fi and also different, perhaps, encryption types. Do something based on that.
To my
But
knowledge,
Zero brought up a very good point. In
to my
chat.
knowledge, I am all of the WPA3 in a 5-mile radius.
Yeah, same. I'm most of the Wi-Fi 6 in a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
It's not fair. That's a tough one. I mean, it's cool, and bonus points on like Wigle to look cool, showing your percentages or whatever. But like for a war drive, it's just not. It's not something we can normalize for.
Sure we can. I can drive around with my Aruba plugged into the back and just keep changing the SSID.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I can script one of my Asus routers to pop up differently every time.
Just fake AP it the whole time, yeah.
Just MDK3 the whole time. Just beacon flooding, no problem.
I'm just gonna replay what I saw at DEF CON.
The GLI Net mobile router. That runs off a
All right, so
battery.
we don't know how to cheat. What are we gonna do to make this fun?
I think I like Andy's idea of that if somebody scores a fox, you end up with more foxes.
I do too. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And I also like the idea that
Maybe
the foxes are distributed across different standards, not like just an AP.
and because I mean that's kind of something specific for me and you, but because there's going to be other people playing, so maybe there could be like a nemesis setting, right? And so you could set your nemesis. So obviously me, you, Kentaro, and then like people can set their own nemesis. So that way it doesn't do it to everybody. Does that make sense?
Rather
That's
than
feeling unfair again.
The one thing that I got to warn you about though is that if coverage is still the metric of success, adding foxes post coverage is going to really screw with people's percentages.
I failed to see the problem. Oh, that's just me being a dick.
The other thing, I guess with a Nemesis setting, you'd also have to take into account the total number of foxes that we created for that,
Right.
for your counterparty. Because if Kintaro opens up with 500 foxes and Dark Matter opens up with 10, that just means you get to keep dumping on him the whole time. That would be pretty harsh.
Yeah, there should definitely be a normalization vector for that, right? Like,
Yeah.
so maybe if he scores, whatever a percentage of that is, so if he gets 10% of the foxes, then that allocates one, right? And then if I get 10% of mine, it would allocate to him.
That would take.
In that metric, you'd be adding foxes every time you got one. He'd have to get 50.
Right.
Or choose a really small quad.
Hey, and then you could do it while you're locked down, Kataro. Just do it from your...
Just stay in the apartment building and
just spin in circles really fast.
Let me get my directional out.
Make friends on all four sides of the apartment and just walk back and forth.
Back and forth.
That's
I just
why
go
think
up.
lowering the bar for the foxes, making a lot more foxes would probably have some amount of equalization to deal with this. Because I think the minimum for DEF CON was like 8, and if we made it 50, it'd be a very different thing.
But basically what we're doing is we're having foxes mate to create new foxes for somebody else.
Yeah.
Chad just had an idea of anti-foxes.
No, that's brutal.
Hmm.
I like the idea though.
So we haven't talked a lot about what the mechanics of the foxes were. These were, so in this case, and we probably wouldn't do it this way again, but these were for the duration of the DEF CON contest, points in Wigle that actively misreported themselves. They changed their BSS ID for the duration of the contest until either they were discovered by somebody in their quad, at which point the lie would vanish. Or if somebody reported one of the fake BSS IDs in their quads, then they got disqualified because we knew that they were using the API, grabbing these things and pushing them up.
Right.
Yeah. So intentionally poisoning the data while it was super cool for DEF CON is kind of not cool for your users, and I respect that. So I don't know if you want to do that.
We ran a lot of analytics, and the only people who ever got served any fake data were actually the people hunting the foxes in their quads. So I feel like we did okay. We skated on the DEF CON thing, but it's certainly something we want to be careful with.
Yeah. Yeah, and for DEF CON, that's awesome. For the rest of us, like, maybe we could have a little bit of honor. I don't know. Just a thought. Certainly hasn't been tried.
The other thing that we could do, which would be less of a lie, is just not serve those points until they're discovered.
Yeah, exactly. That is a much less damaging metric to your other users.
Ooh, you know
If
what
we
I
just
do like
hide a
though?
couple of points.
I did like the ending where you didn't know where your standing was.
We always do that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're jerks that way.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think that adds an element of, okay, strategy on your behalf, right? Do you think you have enough coverage? Or do you push out another?
That was actually my next question and to Andy, does it make sense to give the players a view of each other, or does it make more sense to not have them see anything?
Well, so, and I don't actually remember. I thought we had a standings page, but not.
I'm talking about like giving each player a map.
Oh, so you can see where because we did have 3 or 4 contestants who overlapped, especially in the East Coast of the United States. That's not hard to do. I figure if you're participating in this, you're comfortable letting people know, but it's something that we'd have to announce up front because we wouldn't want, you're telling people where you're going to be. So we want to we want to make sure that our contestants are cool with that. That might even be worth like doing a little Twitter poll on or something.
Right. I'm not, well, I don't have that issue because I don't know. I mean, there's only
you guys live stream your own shit anyway all the time.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's that. Hey, I'm here walking down my street. So
hey, I'm driving around an entire city that's 30 miles from my house. Yeah.
But I think the standing page was cool, but at the same time,
If you never saw the standing page, I want to make that super clear. You saw the final score page. We saw the standing page.
Wait, no. Wigle had a Wigle standing page.
Yeah. We had more.
Right. No. I understand that point. No.
There was a score page.
Right.
And that was it. It showed your scores.
We knew that the wardriving contest was going to feed into the larger RFHS scoring system. So we exposed basically an endpoint with a lot of metrics that they could plug into as an API or just like transcribe and use at the end. But there are a lot of sort of the inputs to the scoring equation were basically all present there, as well as all the outputs, so they could weight it. Inside their technology.
Hold on.
We lost
There's
Rick.
still a lot
Yeah.
back end that we didn't share to the front. Like you could see your own standing much more so than you could see the other player standing.
Oh, I know what the problem is.
I don't want to show everybody's info just for the fear of somebody wouldn't participate because we're doing that.
Yeah.
Like making it opt-in takes away our moral obligation, right? But like if somebody chooses not to play because of that, I'd be sad. Like that's not. I want to see who does the best. Darn it.
Okay, Rick's messing up my thing. It's reorganizing all the things on the Twitters. I have cute little name badges under everybody. Now that Rick's gone, it broke it all.
Yeah, his Linux setup is screwing up, I think, because I kick.
And OBS just froze.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh shit. F's in the chat.
Maybe this is our cutover point to discuss the secret evil stuff we're going to do now that everybody's got a flavor of what we're up to.
All right. No, I was talking about the. Hold on. Let me admit Rick. I was talking about the Wiggle standing page because what happened in another competition I was playing is that I could see my points and I could see my standing, and then I could if I could calculate that, I don't have to do anything more if I wanted to be second, right? And then I was like, I scored enough points that I'm comfortable that nobody's going to catch up on me, right? And I don't know. So I think standing announcing later might be actually better.
I mean, it's nice to know how you're doing, right? Just
yeah,
so you know.
Especially One moment while Kitaro talks to his people about getting his toilet fixed.
Who's yelling in Spanish? What's going on?
People are plumbers.
Yeah, my plumber showed up. So.
Are you are Luigi? I got it now.
That's Italian. Different race. Fucking racist motherfucker. I
we have nothing against the proud people in Mexico, okay?
Olele! MS1377 was 317. Well, whatever.
Oh no!
Wow. Smuggling Jolt up and down the East Coast.
I think so. All right, standing is fine, but I think points should be hidden, right?
So we showed.
What if points are hidden, but you can see where they've driven?
Ooh.
Or how much coverage they have.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if they've got a grid, you can see that they've missed a whole area, and you can still catch
Yeah,
up.
but that comes back to the problem of some people might not want to be known where they are. I mean, if we have like a percentage, says they have a grid and they have covered 25% or 45%. I think that's a safer way to play it than showing them a map and say, well, they covered this part.
Well,
Yeah.
our percentage stuff would be based on the number of node networks that they saw anyway. Again, so for instance, the Wigle client has GPX export, but no feature to upload it. Like we don't see your streets.
Right.
We could add, I mean, if it's going to be in February or something, we could add something around that just for the contest. But I'd want to be real sure that people wanted to expose that, because that's definitely something that's for your consumption, not for ours.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to add that, honestly.
No,
Like
I
I
don't.
said before,
I don't think I need that.
yeah, I don't want people to not participate because of privacy concerns. Like, you're opting into enough as is. Like, I don't want to be publicly showing people's maps. I think that would discourage some people from joining.
Yeah,
That's fair. All right.
but I'm fine with percentage coverage.
I think percentage coverage would be an amazing stat. Just
What
there are this
about
many known networks in Wiggle, and you've seen this percentage of them would be great.
yeah, and then also what about new networks stumbled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like when you upload the data to the API, or even I guess on the mobile, but you see how many new ones you discovered, how many you've seen. I think that kind of data breakdown on the standing page plus the coverage of that quadrant you selected, I think is great stat for. And if you're not playing, you can at least watch the guy go, oh man, he lives in the dense area, but he 25% coverage, and he already has like, I don't know, 100,000 points or whatever, APs or whatever, you know.
So yeah, let's say I'm
Right,
just
and that's
looking.
why-
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I just pulled up the admin standings table. We had sort of the user status, their quad, the number of points initially in their quad, the number of foxes we made, the number of foxes they'd found, total seen in their quad during the contest, total new to Wiggle, and when they'd last uploaded. So that was a much richer data view. That was a much richer data view than the individual contestants got.
And I have no problem showing the numbers side of that publicly. I think that would make it fun to watch.
Yeah,
I think,
I agree.
there are this many in your quad and you found this percentage of them is not a harmful thing to release.
No.
Can even the last upload one's not a harmful thing to release, because you can say, okay, this person hasn't uploaded for a while, this number is going to change, or they just uploaded, I know where they're standing. I mean, those kinds of things are pretty safe. The map, I strongly feel we should not be publishing.
No, I'm with Zero on that one.
Yeah, I agree.
What about limiting or mandating quad size?
Well, I
It
mean,
was
then we go
4
back
by
to the
4,
density
10 by 10.
issue, right?
I mean, we did limit it before. It was between 4 by 4 and 10 by 10.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that's like between this and this, so that's.
We can limit it more if you'd like. I don't have
That's
a
what I'm
problem with
saying.
that.
I think we need to make it relatively fair, which would create a strategy around setting up your quad.
Right.
I mean, there should be a little bit of research into setting up your quad to say, hey, you know what? This area has been really heavily. I mean, Kentara, if you go outside of your house, your apartment, you've already hit that whole area. There's probably nothing new. You're going to have to go somewhere else.
Yeah. You're
Right, because I mean, the mindset has got to be like, I want to go stumbled new networks. I want to find stuff that hasn't been wiggled in a long time, right? Because that's going to be the most valuable, right?
Or is it?
Or is it just thoroughness of
No,
an
no.
area?
No. Here's the thing: are new access points more valuable than known solid access points that have been around?
I think they're both equally valuable. One's easier to fake.
Yeah.
You had to at least do a believable job of mixing in the fake ones with the real ones last time around. And again, we didn't catch anybody doing anything super sketchy that way. So maybe people were just much more clever than we expected. But we have enough of a reference data set that it's kind of easy to spot things that are way out of profile. The other thing about the quad is that the actual quad shape wasn't dictated. So if you wanted a long, narrow quad that followed a highway or matched the shape of the city, you could do that. It had to be square versus the geogrid, but it had to be right angles versus the geogrid, but it could really be any distance long you wanted.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Gerrymandered quads. All right. You can freely draw the quad so I can kind of like circle the neighborhoods I want and I don't want.
Can I have like 3 different small quads that total the same area?
I was really proud. I made a little JavaScript tool where you could actually set up your quad and see what it was going to look like and tweak it. Like you had the option to put in your endpoints and adjust it and get it.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was really impressed with that when I sat down and set it up.
Fun.
Yeah, definitely. That was cool.
I mean, the cooler thing would have been if you could just draw it, but too lazy for that.
It worked well, I think. I think it worked out real well.
But again, getting back to rules, because I think that's what we were trying to discuss here. Are we looking for new or are we looking for existing? What is the limit of the quad size we want? And then how are we doing foxes? I think those are the big 4, right?
Yeah, and those were I wish I had the equation that we wrote down last time, but those were the inputs. It's like points that were new to Wigle were worth a certain amount versus points we already knew about. The foxes were a proxy for coverage. So if you got most of your foxes, it means that you covered most of your quad. And then total points stumbled, figured in too, but was down weighted because we wanted to take geography. We wanted to take geography out as an advantage.
I like it. Now I just need to figure out the values for those numbers.
Mm-hmm. That's why, and the people on this call, not the people in chat, have access to the configuration parameters we used last time. So,
but I think we should be blind about that too, right? At the end. Because if we know, then we have an advantage. I mean, it's a heads up between me and Mike, but still. I like uncertainty. That's why I'm asking for to know as less as I know, but I want to set the baseline so that at least the competition is fair for crying bitch ass Mike, because he's gonna bitch about losing against me by a mile.
Forget, I'm going to be running this, but I'm also going to be driving exhibition against you two just to put you in your places.
So the standing is going to be Andy, 0, me, and Mike.
That seems likely.
That seems very likely.
Yeah.
I won't let it happen. I won't let it happen.
I've stumbled my area out. I showed you my coverage from running last year in Twitter.
Yeah, which is freaking awesome, dude. That was awesome.
Same thing. I now have to take a cab away from my house and then walk back because I'll do like a 3-hour walk and I pick up like 100 new devices. I'm like,
you need a Vespa. It's your little scooter.
No, I like the walking. I think I found out that actually walking scores me more because my walking speed allows me to pick up more in a highly dense area. So than when I'm moving on a cab, for example, like I'll do the same route on a cab. And if I walk, I pick way up more when I walk than when I'm in a cab.
That makes sense.
So,
So it kind of sounds like we want the numbers to be a little bit blind to me and Kentaro.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with being blind. But I think
We want everyone that's competing to know roughly what's going on. Like the
Yeah.
exact math can be whatever, but the point is coverage counts.
Yeah.
Finding things that Wiggle already knows about counts. Finding things that Wiggle does not know about is points. Like we're trying to keep this as fair as humanly possible,
Yeah.
and we're trying to wait for these different things. And that is important to understand, but like how exactly we pick the points that we call foxes is not necessarily. Like you could hide that from yourselves if you want, or you could be part of that discussion. I don't care. Like it's a fair contest either way, honestly. Again, we all know how to
You
cheat.
still gotta
We
do the
really
thing.
want to cheat. Cheating involves a packet generator and driving around in a circle. Like this is not incredibly complex. It's just stupid.
We could also, since I'm not going to be in the standings proper, I can also, as part of recusing myself, I've got a 20-sided ducky die right here that I can just sit and roll and come up with the numbers. So
Perfect.
I like it.
that seems the most random point generating anyway. It's the most
I meant
fair.
for the input for the equation rather than people's scores, but I could do that too.
So during the competition, we're gonna have Andy roll the dice time, and then you get that as a multiplier for your points during the time
Like
period.
Mario Party, yeah.
Andy becomes the dungeon master.
Oh no, I was slayed by a troll.
But
Don't tell Bruno.
so going back, I think we all agree on the base. I like the idea of either adding foxes or doing something that makes it competitive against other players,
Yes.
right? And but I don't know if that has to be agreed upon. That we're going to go that are you going heads up against somebody, or is it going to be against all players? I guess if you do it against all players, then I think like the newer entries might have a disadvantage, right?
So
'Cause-
they're playing again. They're playing in a big league exhibition game. They should be able to hit a fastball.
Touche. Fair point.
There's also other hilarious things we could do. Just picking out random times where certain things are worth more, or
yeah, no, I
whatever.
totally like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
I like randomness, right?
Yeah. We could
Cha-
just do all
chaos.
these things with each other.
Chaos
Like
is like-
Andy rolls his die, and this hour XYZ is worth more points, and next hour he rolls it again, and we're screwed in a different way. I mean, like, that goes less to who's winning and more to who got lucky on the dice roll, but it does keep it exciting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, let me come up with a menu of cruel things that we could do to people during the contest and bounce that off of y'all. I don't imagine we want to do them all, but having a couple of wild cards might be really fun.
I think it
agree.
would keep it interesting. I like that idea.
I agree.
Mhm.
Even like I don't know, mega point foxes or whatever. That you if you find that, then you get mega points maybe, or you do a lot of damage to the other player.
Yeah, actually, so if you set up for Nemesis mode and actually drop a new fox on somebody, I feel like if they go back and find that, in spite of the fact that they may have already covered that area, that should be worth more.
Yeah, I agree. No,
That's like your chance to steal in a game show. You're like, okay, fine, you hit a curveball and I hit it. Now
that's when you go, man, I shouldn't have gotten in that thing in there.
I mean, I think randomly dropping foxes in at certain times would be helpful too. Just
we have the
2 hours in, 12 new foxes show up, and they're worth twice as much.
But they disappear in like what, 3 hours or something like that? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. On an interval.
Yeah. No, I think that will make it.
I mean, again, trying to think of Andy's time, there is some programming that goes into some of this stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
Well, I'm not going to do everything in the menu I present. I'll give you a menu and you can pick two or something.
All right, cool. But I think from a time frame wise, I think either sometime past Valentine's Day is gonna be good for me because I'm locked out. I mean, literally. I mean, and if the numbers go up, which they're projecting to do, then they're gonna go to even stranger lockdown, and then it's gonna be me with my direction antenna, and I still will beat Mike, but I don't get the satisfaction of playing the game.
Oh
Art, do
jeez.
you get speed?
Like speed during driving, not at the
Yeah.
server. I mean, in the app we have it, but it's one of those things that we didn't really need to know.
Yeah. I didn't know if Kismet uploaded that too.
Mm.
We throw out a lot of.
Yeah.
So the
I was just thinking
Now
speed
Kismet,
limit would be
new
a fun
Kismet.
one.
It just basically uploads it in our export CSV,
Okay.
because we're not looking for detailed site surveys. We're looking for best location. The old Kismet files had a lot of stuff that we just didn't want anything to do with, like packet captures. If you tried to upload them, it would error out and we'd delete them. We don't want it. Don't throw packet data at us. And similarly, like any detailed navigational information, we just ignored and got rid of. We just didn't want
I
it.
think we're not gonna make point difference on device, right? Like if you use Kismet versus a phone, the points are scored the same, right?
No, I was thinking more like one of the things to screw people is a speed limit or a speed minimum. Like this hour you have to be going under 30 miles an hour, and this hour you have to be going over 30 miles an hour. Just both
So
sides,
much
man.
like Pokemon Go, except for the opposite.
Yeah.
Can't
Clearly-
fix Pokemon if you're over
clearly-
15 miles an
Clearly,
hour.
Zero, you have been playing Pokemon Go way too much. You got sucked into the vortex.
I'm not even level 40 yet.
No, I think we should keep the devices differences simple and just go on pure points of data collected.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's gonna be, I don't know, but there's gonna be, like, I don't have a driving license, so yes, but I have public transportation, a lot of it that I can run. So I mean, but if there's some kid in Utah who doesn't drive because, I don't know, his license gets suspended between now and February, he's gonna have to.
All on a unicycle last time. I mean, it just
Yeah,
all
but
depends.
riding the unicycle with a really large antenna rig that only lasts 2 hours is really painful.
Gotta be in tip-top condition, sir.
Oh my.
So
I'm just waiting for. So we have a number of users who are law enforcement officers. I'm waiting for one of them who's out running their rig while they're on duty to pull over somebody else who's competing against them. That's going to be the amazing bit.
that Wigle ID card saved my ass one time the other day. So I made this fake Wigle ID card, and they're like, "Why do you have this thing in your backpack? Why carry so many phones?" Oh, I'm a volunteer network surveyor. They're like, oh, "Okay, cool."
Perfect.
Wow.
Swear to
Wow.
God, next time we meet in person, we should have an ID printer at the wireless village and just print out Wigle IDs.
That could happen.
Yeah.
So,
That could happen.
In
We're looking for
2026, we have.
sponsors. We're openly looking for sponsors. If you'd like to, please contact us.
Yeah.
well, we can make people pay for it, $5 for the cost. I'm
Heck
sure
yeah,
they'll
that'd be
line up and
dope.
get it printed.
And then Kentaro will sign it.
And Mike will sign it. Unlike,
No,
unlike
man,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Unlike Mike, I will actually sign it.
Oh, jeez.
Wiggle sat at their table for a much longer time than you did.
True.
Doing office hours was really fun. I felt bad about wasting your table, but we had some other things that we'd promised to do, so it was tough.
Right. So no, I think we're good. I think this it's coming up on the hour. I know Melandic has to go to bed because he needs his beauty sleep.
It's well past beauty.
He gets irregular if he doesn't get sleep enough. That kind of thing.
Oh dear.
So I think what we'll do is we'll take and then Andy, will you come up with a punishment or weird shit to do list.
I'll come up with our list of cruel things that players can do to one another. In general, are we fine with during the sign up being able to choose a nemesis or not, or is that something that you'll do later in the contest? I
think once we lock down the participants, we should do the nemesis because
No. Hold on. If we're gonna do this, let's do it right. Let's say X number of whatevers gives you something you can do to somebody else, and you can pick that somebody at the time, and we can play screw the winner.
That's
that way.
Pillars of Katana, I like that.
Yeah, that way everybody can be attacking the person on top and screwing that dude.
clearly
way
somebody
Kentaro's
hasn't
gonna
gotten
give the
out
rest
and
of us a
has been
chance.
playing a lot of games these days in his basement over the internet. But I like the
Yeah, I
idea.
must play cooperative games with my 4-year-old, so yeah, I'm newly thinking of evil things.
So the way that works is that you score a certain point or whatever, which gives you the right to screw somebody else over. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's let's say you've got 10 foxes, and every 2 foxes you find, you get to play something nasty on a person you choose.
Oh wow.
Or something like that.
I like.
I do
So we'd
too.
have like on our status page, you'd have like just a pool of points that you can then use to attack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you do you lose your fox points if you choose to spend them to do something mean to somebody?
Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, you should
Ooh.
absolutely lose
You
your
can-
fox points.
So
Because
it's like
current.
blood. It's like you draw blood to cause blood.
You can
Sure.
play the good guy and try and win by force of arms, or you can be sneaky, but it'll cost you.
I like that.
If you do the math the same way, you would really tank yourself doing that, though. I kind of want the violence to be more enjoyable. Like you really. I mean,
See, that's
yourself
your
off real
twisted
bad.
personality, Zero. That's why nobody
What
likes
about-
you.
we
except
did
us.
have that yin yang thing. So if I throw 3 additional foxes at you, but you find those 3, you get more points for it.
Right. But I do like the idea that Andy came up with is that you get to choose, depending on the points you have, who you're going to screw over.
I like that.
Because if
There's
Mike is
some
the one above me, I'm screwing Mike. I don't care about the top guy. I'm going to
Yeah,
screw
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, there's some metric that earns you the ability to screw somebody else, and then you pick who you want to screw, and whether you add a fox to them at a random location, or whether it's just a straight drop of points.
Because I don't want to brag, but if it's a popularity contest, it's going to be me because I have the best personality among all of us.
I don't know. You just accused me of my non-shining personality.
No, so that's why I know you're going to screw me, but not the other players. And I'm going to screw Mike.
Who am I gonna screw?
No one.
Dude, I gave you a raving review about your personality on my YouTube the other day.
I know, I saw that, and you are the sweetest in the world, Kentaro. You are amazing.
Like I said, if it's a popularity
I love
contest,
that.
it's
I love you,
but
Kentaro.
I like the idea. So let's do that then. So we'll write it up. I'll put it up on my blog once we set on the thing so that people can read it.
I'll retweet it.
And then I'll make it a public post so that everybody can read it.
We also have to figure out how.
Or I can make people charge. I can charge people $3 to read it, which would be like fucking money to me. But
yeah, like all 4 people that would read it, so $12.
well, we have what? We have 14 viewers, so let's say half of that 7 times 3, $21. Hey, I can buy a new Wi-Fi dongle.
All right, I'm going to start a GoFundMe real quick for Kentaro because he needs more Wi-Fi dongles.
No, I don't.
Kentaro is struggling and needs more dongles. Please help him. Send money. Send aid now.
feel like dongles are not something any of us need more of.
With $1 a month, Kentaro gets to Wi-Fi more. Join the UNICEF Wi-Fi dongle fund.
Helping to provide more Wi-Fi to hungry children in Tokyo who
All right.
crave those.
All right, this is
airwaves.
getting stupid. Let's cut it off, guys.
All
Wait,
right.
hold on. Ark actually was trying to say something useful 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You remember?
Oh, I was gonna suggest that we need a way to publish when somebody chooses to smite another player. We need a way to really announce that. So
Oh,
we-
yeah.
It should be a tweet.
on what medium we want to let folks know
Well, Parlor is out. So it's
For
either
now.
it's either
No,
going to
we
have to be Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
And we can do
All the
Mario
above.
Kart icons. Do Mario Kart icons on the scoreboard. Get a red shell, a blue shell, green
God.
shell.
I think, I mean,
Flipping
you know, using some of the, if then that APIs, I think we should be able to pull something together that auto tweets, Kentaro bitch slap Mike with 4 Wi-Fi turtles or something,
With 4d2 damage.
Wow.
But Andy, you're gonna have to record a multiple like short video clips of you rolling the dice.
Yeah, no, we can do that. And I have the ducky dice, so that's the right thing to use. I mean, obviously that's correct. No,
Awesome.
what we need is a graphic designer because I'm unfortunately the person who does all of that for Wiggle, and I'm just not very good at it.
I'm all right. I can help you out on that.
Okay, cool.
So
We'll have to come up with a way of letting people know what's going on a little better.
now I think I like the to spend more time a little bit on the audience side. Zero.
Hold on. We could do crowd control. We could let the audience pay to smite us.
Charity.
Just
Oh no, that brings up a good point. I was talking to Danny. He's planning to do a charity stream. So
Nice.
if we do that, then people can pay to smite us, but that money will go to the charity.
I like it.
That's
just saying,
pretty
we
solid.
run a charity.
Well, I mean,
A charity's a charity.
charity is a charity. So
The RF Hacker Sanctuary needs your money. So we can give you fabulous prizes for our contests.
wait, isn't that like one of those like Kickstarter things that we're gonna end up seeing you in like 3 new cars, Zero?
No. No, it's the charity that runs the wireless village.
All right. That's fine too, but I think either way, I think
We can-
Danny.
It's new. That's fine. I like toys.
Yeah, no, I think tying into Danny's stream, I don't know. Although he planned to do it in January, so if that's the case, then we're out. But I think tying up with him will, allow us to gain more viewers, and we get to do something while he does something and provide content. So
Yeah, I mean, this all sounds good, so we can figure it all out as we
Yeah.
move forward.
all right, cool. I think we got the base things that I wanted to at least get out of. Out
And
of the way.
hopefully we'll have inspired folks in the community to reach out with ideas and stuff too. So.
Well, and to that note, the chat's been freaking awesome with ideas too. So
Yeah.
shout out to the chat. I've been loving the ideas that have been seeing in there, so.
Any more ideas that you have about what we should do? Tweet at Dark Matter.
Yeah, he'll see that.
You'll see that. So
I'll bring them directly to the committee. So
All right,
straight
cool.
away.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'm super excited about this challenge. I'm super excited to battle you and win you, Kentaro.
I'm
It's
gonna
be
bitch
no
slap you
contest
tomorrow, man.
You've already won him.
You're gonna feel like the beginning of 2020 when I'm done with you.
Oh, you don't. Oh man. Oh man. You did not just go there.
And we have a volunteer in the Discord for artwork and
Cool.
Sweet.
experience. It's worth it. So, yay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank
Sweet.
you. Shout out to you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks.
Maybe we can connect with them. Zero, are you
Yeah.
connecting with them? Perfect. Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Sweet. And with that, I mean, thank you so much for everybody being involved in this. Arc, man, this is awesome. You willing to do it. The last contest was just epic. Like, I absolutely loved it, and that's why I want to do this again. So thank you so much for your participation. Council of Ricks, dude, you guys rock. I love you guys. Without your help and support, like, this wouldn't happen. And I'm super excited for you guys to be in the trenches battling with us and probably embarrassing the shit out of us. So I'm super excited to see what's going to happen, what's going to come from this. Kitaro, man, I miss your face, bro. I
Miss
love
you,
you.
brother.
I miss you like crazy. Yeah, let's do this. Let's rock it. So I
Oh, and
appreciate all of you. Yeah.
one last thing. Miss Griff asked me, will there be a trophy? I will design a trophy for this.
Yes.
So
I feel like it's going to, I think I know where you're going with.
Is this going to be an annual thing?
Or sooner. Maybe we do it quarterly. No, just kidding. That's too much. Maybe a couple times. We'll see how bored we are this year, right?
all right.
Twice a year for sure would be a good cadence.
Yeah.
Because there are
I
two
just
major.
saw Art shift in his chair. He's like, quarterly? Whoa.
I have this job, but no, it's the other thing is I'm excited about doing a shorter one because it's I'm basically up the whole time, so it'd be nice to have a little break.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Look forward
Great
to
to see you
future.
guys.
Yep.
Bye,
Great to
guys.
see you as well. And stream is away.
All right, let me stop.